paramagnetism and paramagnetic materials. Paramagnetism and paramagnetic materials. So what is paramagnetism? So again, in some of the atoms of a material there exist unpaired electrons. In some of the atoms of a material there exist unpaired electrons, and since there exist unpaired electrons, these electrons will possess some resultant magnetic moment. These electrons will possess the orbital magnetic moment denoted by mu L. These electrons will possess the spin magnetic moment denoted by mu S, and there will be the resultant of these two denoted by mu. And again, since there is an unpaired electron, means what? There is no other electron who is trying to cancel these effect. Okay, these effect will be retained by the atom. These effect will be retained by the atom. So suppose that there are some atoms, for example, which have one unpaired electron and remaining electron are in the closed orbit. So suppose lithium. Okay, so these are the two electrons in the first energy state, and the second energy state is having only one electron. So first energy state is completely filled, so whatever magnetic effects generated by this electron will be cancelled by the magnetic effect generated by the other electron. Okay, so this orbit will not play any role in the magnetism of that particular atom, but other energy shell, other energy level, other orbit is having only one unpaired electron, so it will generate some resultant magnetic moment. Okay, it will generate some resultant magnetic moment, and that is nothing but the magnetic moment of the atom as a whole. But any material will be having so many atoms. Any materials will be having so many atoms. So this particular atom will be having magnetic moment. Maybe it will be oriented in some other direction. The other atom will be having magnetic moment, will be oriented in some other direction. Okay, so there will be so many atoms inside the materials, and the magnetic moment direction will be random in general. Okay, but we know that how to find out the total magnetic moment of that particular material. In order to do that, we have to add all these magnetic moments factorially. We have to add all these magnetic moments factorially. After addition, you may find that okay, its resultant is not zero. Its resultant is not zero. So it should show some magnetic properties. Okay, it should show some magnetic properties, but this will not be the case because of the temperature. These magnetic moments are totally vibrating, are always vibrating, and because of this vibrational motion, the resultant of all these magnetic moments will be exactly equal to zero. So at room temperature, you will find that this particular material is having zero magnetic moment vector, But when such a material is placed in external magnetic field, you will find that the individual magnetic moments of all the atoms will try to align. It may not completely align with the external magnetic field, but it will try to align in a direction parallel to the external magnetic field. Okay, so there is some kind of alignment, so there will be some kind of magnetization vector. Which will be generated under the action of external magnetic field. So you can measure the M vector. You know the value of H vector because how much external magnetic field you have applied, that you know, and in that you can find the magnetic susceptibility. In this case, the magnetic susceptibility is a positive value because here the direction of M is nearly parallel to the direction of H. Okay, so there will be a positive value of magnetic susceptibility, but its value is small. Its value is again small. It is of the order of some 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to minus 6. It is of the order of some 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, so there is very small value of magnetic susceptibility. Alright. Okay, I think this much is enough for this particular paramagnetism. Okay. Again one thing, that this magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to temperature. It is inversely proportional to temperature. So if you increase the temperature of a paramagnetic materials, you will find that its magnetic susceptibility is decreasing. Okay. Why it should decrease with the increase in temperature? Because if you increase the temperature will provide a maximum amount of energy to these atoms. This energy will be absorbed by these atoms and they will be again randomly oriented because of the vibrational motion. Okay. So they will be randomly oriented and it will be difficult for the external magnetic field to keep these magnetic moments aligned in one particular direction, right? So therefore, if you increase the temperature, the magnetic susceptibility will decrease. Now what are the examples? There are so many examples. Air is one of the example. Air is one of the example of paramagnetic material. So if you measure the paramagnetic susceptibility of the gas, you will find that its value is of the order of 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to minus 6 only. Okay, but with a positive value, Okay, so this is about paramagnetic materials. Now come to the ferromagnetic material. This is very special kind of material, ferromagnetic material. Okay, and that has very great applications in our day-to-day life. Ferromagnetism and ferromagnetic materials. Ferromagnetic materials. Okay. Now what is meant by ferromagnetic materials? So in ferromagnetic material, we know that in order to understand any type of magnetism, we have to go towards the atom. Okay, what is the state of the atom, right? Okay, for example, there is a iron atom. We can consider the iron atom, we can consider the nickel atom, we can consider the cobalt atom of a cobalt. Okay, in this case, the individual magnetic moment, there are the unpaired electrons, no doubt. Okay, there is another criteria also, that what is the radius of that particular electronic orbit. Okay, but we will not go deep into that particular thing. We know that if there is an unpaired electron, then this unpaired electron will have some kind of magnetic moment due to the orbital motion, magnetic moment due to the spin motion, and they will add vectorially to give some resultant magnetic moment in some particular direction. Now in ferromagnetic material also there will be so many atoms. So there will be another atom, there will be another atom, there will be another atom. Okay. Now there will be so many atoms and every atom will have some permanent magnetic moment. Now in case of ferromagnetic material, what makes ferromagnetic material so different is this. In case of ferromagnetic material, you will find that the individual magnetic moment vectors are nearly aligned in one direction. Or you can find that, suppose this is a material, so this material, if this is a material of ferromagnetic material, then in this ferromagnetic material there exist some regions. These regions are called as domains. So this is domain 1, this is domain 2, this is domain 3, 4 and 5. So in case of ferromagnetic materials, you will find that there exist the domains, and within the domains all the magnetic moments are aligned in one particular direction only. All the magnetic moment vectors are aligned in one particular direction only. So you see, this part of the material will act as a strong magnet now, even if I am not applying any external magnetic field. See, this is happening even if I am not applying any external magnetic field, because the individual magnetic moment of every atom is so strong, and the interaction between individual atomic magnets of all the atoms within that particular region is so strong that all the magnetic moments within that particular region, which is called as a domains, in that domains all the magnetic moments are aligned in one particular direction. What about next domain? So in the next domain, it may happen that, means here also all the magnetic moment vectors will be completely aligned, but the direction of alignment may be different than this alignment. So here it may happen that the direction of alignment is like this. Okay. In other domain the direction of alignment may be like this, but within the domain all the atomic magnets are aligned in one particular direction only. You cannot find that within this particular domain one magnetic moment is aligned like this. So no, you cannot find like this. All the magnetic moments are aligned in one particular direction only. So adjacent domain may have the orientation of atomic magnets in different direction. Okay, orientation of atomic magnets in the different direction. So this will be the case with the ferromagnetic material. It is the interaction. It is not only the magnetic moment possessed by the individual atom, it is the interaction between all the atoms, and that interaction makes this particular thing possible, that within a small regions which is called as a domains, in that domains all the atomic magnets are oriented in one particular direction. Now when this happens, such a phenomena is called as ferromagnetism. And the materials which exhibit this particular property, such a materials are called as a ferromagnetic material. Now what will be the net magnetic moment of this particular material? So you will find that even if we don't apply any external magnetic field, the net magnetic moment of this material may be not zero. In some cases it may be zero also, okay, without the application of external magnetic field. In some cases it may be zero, but in most of the cases it is not equal to zero. So such a materials are said to be weakly magnetized. Even in the absence of external magnetic field, any external magnetic field. Now what will happen if we apply the external magnetic field? Okay, so if such a material is kept in the external magnetic field, suppose this is the direction of external magnetic field, then what will happen? See, within the domain, inside the domain, all the dipole moments are oriented in one particular direction. So if you apply the external magnetic field, what will happen? These domains, these magnetic moment vector will now tend to align itself. It will tend to align itself into the external magnetic field. Okay, so all the magnetic moments, once these magnetic dipoles are aligning itself towards the external magnetic field, no, it will help other magnetic moments to get align itself into the external magnetic field. Okay, so it will rotate, this will rotate, this will again rotate, it will be rotating easily. Okay, this will again rotate easily. These magnetic moments are already in the direction of external magnetic field. So you will find that all these domains, they now assist each other to align the dipole moments within the domains in the direction parallel to the external magnetic field. And once all the domains, all the magnetic moments inside the domains gets aligned with the direction of external magnetic field, you will find that there is no domain inside the material. The whole material has become like a single domain. The whole material, because what is domain? Domain is a region in which all the dipoles are oriented in one particular direction. Now because of the application of external magnetic field, you see that all the dipoles are getting aligned with the direction of external magnetic field. So there will be no existence of individual domains. Okay, there is only one single domain in which all the dipole moments are aligned in the direction of external magnetic field, and you will find that such a material exhibit high magnetic field. High magnetic field. Okay, it will generate high value of B vector inside this particular material. Okay, and after that, even if you remove the external magnetic field, you will find that these individual magnetic moments remain in the same direction. Earlier with the paramagnetic material, what was happening? that if you remove the external magnetic field, the orientation of the dipole moments will get again disturbed because of the thermal agitation, and they will be randomly oriented, making the resultant magnetic moment of that particular material equal to 0. But this will not happen with this particular material. Once all the dipole moments have been aligned in one particular direction, the whole region will act as a one domain only, and within the domain the magnetic moment vectors will not rotate. Okay, it will be oriented in that particular direction, and you will find that even if you remove the external magnetic field, the magnetic moments will be locked. Okay, magnetic moments will be locked inside the material, and that material will act as a strong magnet, strong permanent magnet. So this will behave as strong magnet. This will behave as a strong magnet, strong permanent magnet. Okay, and if you find the susceptibility, chi of these ferromagnetic materials, you will find the large magnetization. You will find that the magnetization is very, very large, and its value is more than 1. Its value is always greater than 1. Its value is always greater than 1. Okay, so this is the speciality of these ferromagnetic materials. Such a ferromagnetic materials has large amount of applications. Okay, we know that in the sound speaker the ferromagnetic materials are required. In various electronic circuits these ferromagnetic materials are required. In making the memory chips also the ferromagnetic materials are required. In making a transformers also the ferromagnetic materials are required. In the generation of the electricity, in the electric power stations also the ferromagnetic materials are required. So these types of materials has great applications in nearly every field. Okay, these are having very, very peculiar magnetic properties also, very peculiar medical field applications also. Okay, so these are the properties of ferromagnetic materials. The examples are iron, nickel, cobalt, and there are so many. Okay, there are so many examples of the ferromagnetic materials also. Okay, now depending on the domain structure and all, the ferromagnetic materials are also classified as ferromagnetic, ferrimagnetic, and antiferromagnetic materials. Okay, so this is about the ferromagnetic material, ferromagnetism and the ferromagnetic material. Okay, yes, and about how the susceptibility varies with respect to temperature. So susceptibility of a ferromagnetic material is represented like this: variation of susceptibility with temperature, it is equal to C divided by T minus Tc. C divided by T minus Tc. So C is called as the Curie constant. C is called as the Curie constant. Tc is the Curie temperature. Tc is the Curie temperature, and T is the temperature, any temperature. Okay, you will find that these ferromagnetic materials, okay, the ferromagnetic properties are again inversely proportional to the temperature. Okay, so up to the Curie temperature, if T is equal to Tc, Tc minus Tc will be equal to 0, and you will get the infinite value. So up to the value of Curie temperature, that is Tc, and that Curie temperature will be different for different materials. Okay, so up to the value of Curie temperature, the ferromagnetic properties will be retained by that particular material. But if temperature is more than Tc, if the temperature is more than Tc, then in that case ferromagnetism will be lost. Means you are providing so much of temperature that because of the temperature this alignment of the magnetic dipoles will not be retained, and it will be disturbed completely. So above the Curie temperature, ferromagnetic property will not be retained by the material, and the material will now act as a paramagnetic material. Material will now act as a paramagnetic material. So the ferromagnetic material exists under certain temperature conditions only. Okay, but that particular Curie temperature is very, very large. Okay, sometimes 1200 degrees, sometimes 1000 degrees, sometimes 800 degrees, like that. So you have to heat the material up to that temperature, then only ferromagnetic material will be converted into the paramagnetic material. Okay, so this is all about ferromagnetism and the ferromagnetic materials. In the next lecture we shall be discussing about Langevin's theory, or the classical theory of diamagnetic material, paramagnetic material, and the ferromagnetic material, and to some extent we will also see the quantum theory for paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials also. Okay, thank you.